Shirley's life falls apart when she sees her husband, Brody, with another woman at work. After he threatens to divorce her and take everything, Shirley finds herself homeless and heartbroken. But then, someone enters her life and changes everything. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for more inspiring stories. Shirley watched in disbelief as her husband, Brody, openly flirted with his secretary, Lila, in their office. Her hands trembled, dropping the spoons in her hand to the floor, yet they seemed not to notice her at all. "Brody, what's going on here?" Shirley confronted them, her voice cutting through the silence of the office. Brody feigned innocence. "What's your problem, Shirley? We're just discussing work. This is how you discuss work?" Shirley's voice was laced with anger. "By putting your hands up her skirt? In front of everyone?" "Don't make a scene," Brody warned, but Shirley was resolute. "We need to talk. In private. Now," she demanded. Brody's anger flared. "You don't get to order me around. I'm filing for divorce today. I'll take the house. You can't take my house. It was my parents'. You have no right." Brody smirked. "Don't forget you're married to a lawyer. Just watch me. I'll move Lila in, and we'll celebrate on every surface in every single room." Shocked and hurt, Shirley could barely respond as Brody pushed his wedding ring into the cake she had brought to share with him. "Maybe you can pawn this for a doghouse," he sneered, leaving with Lila. Shirley was left in a daze, surrounded by whispers of pity. Later, alone in a cheap hotel room, she couldn't help but cry as she thought about her and Brody's relationship. How had the man she vowed to spend her life with transformed into this stranger? Had she really let herself go? Was it her fault that Brody had turned to Lila? Overwhelmed with emotions, she punched a pillow, hoping to free herself of some anger and pain, when a knock at her door interrupted her. Expecting it to be a staff member, she opened the door and was surprised to find a strange man. I thought I heard a cry for help," he stammered. "Well, you heard wrong. Unless you can help me keep my house from the husband who's divorcing me." "Go away," she snapped, her voice brittle. The man's eyebrows rose, taken aback by her sharpness. Then, he looked at her from head to toe and said, "I can't help with that. But now, I can see why he's divorcing you." With that, he turned on his heel and walked away. Fueled by anger, Shirley followed him to his room, refusing to let his comments slide. "What did you say to me?" she demanded, blocking his door from closing. The man tried to clarify. "I was concerned about the noise." "I clearly know what you meant," she retorted. "I may not look perfect, but that doesn't give you the right to judge me." The man softly agreed, showing a hint of regret. "You're right. You don't deserve that." Shirley was momentarily stunned, the fight draining out of her as his words registered. But before she could process or respond, he quickly stepped back, shutting the door in her face with a firmness that allowed no room for further conversation. "Wait, I was still yelling at you," she shouted, kicking the door, only to injure her foot. The next day, she limped into her office, her mind still racing with the stranger's thoughts. Suddenly, she recalled something. "Mr. Williams will be here today." "Great, just what I need when I'm already a mess and new boss," she muttered, sitting. "Well, your new boss is already here," came a voice behind her, startlingly familiar and not at all welcome. "You must be my kind and helpful secretary, Shirley." Shirley froze, then slowly turned in her chair, only to realize the stranger she had yelled at, the man she had thought she would never see again, was Mr. Williams, her new boss. She was flustered, facing Mr. Williams after their hotel altercation. "I'm sorry about last night," she began, but Mr. Williams wasn't interested in her apologies. "Your behavior was unacceptable. I expect better from my employees," he said, cutting her off. "I need the case file for Richardson versus Richardson. Now," he ordered and marched to his office. Embarrassed, Shirley accepted his rebuke and turned to her task, searching for the Richardson case file amidst a disorganized mess. In her haste, her hands brushed against a stack of folders, scattering them across the floor, drawing Mr. Williams's critical eye again. "What's taking so long? I asked you to bring me the case file, not scatter it across the floor," he said, approaching her. "I have it here," Shirley replied, handing over the file, her cheeks burning with embarrassment. Mr. Williams took the file, his gaze sweeping over the disaster area that was once an orderly corner of the office. "This is quite the mess. It seems tidiness isn't your strong suit," he remarked dryly. Before she could reply, he turned and left, leaving her to clean up. But Shirley's problems were far from over. As she cleaned the mess, Brody and Lila appeared, their laughter adding to her humiliation. This was the last straw for Shirley. She was done with men ridiculing and belittling her all the time. Storming into Mr. Williams's office, she declared, "I'm not your secretary anymore. I resign." Mr. Williams, unfazed, refused to accept her resignation. "Get back to work on the Richardson case, Shirley." "No, I'm leaving, so sign my resignation," Shirley insisted, her voice firm. "I won't sign this," Mr. Williams replied, crumpling her resignation letter and tossing it out the window. Frustrated and emotional, Shirley sat at his desk and penned another resignation, her words fueled by the pain of betrayal and injustice. "Look, I just can't take it anymore," she broke down before she could finish writing. "What is it with men like you that makes you think you can control my life?" Mr. Williams's demeanor softened as he listened. "I'm not refusing to accept your resignation because I want to bully you," he explained as he rose and took the seat beside her. "Just let me go," she pleaded, looking up at him. "I can't." Shirley broke off when Mr. Williams took out a handkerchief and gently dabbed at her tears. "I can't let you go because I like you, Shirley," Mr. Williams revealed, his sincerity catching Shirley by surprise. "But you don't even know me, Mr. Williams," she countered, puzzled by his sentiment after their rocky start. "Nathan, call me Nathan. And yes, I might not know you fully, but I admire your spirit and strength," Nathan explained, trying to bridge the gap between them. Shirley was torn, Brody's past words haunting her, making her doubt Nathan's intentions. "Be grateful that I love you, Shirley, because nobody else ever could. You're nothing but a tool to be used." Shirley didn't know how to process everything that had happened in the last few days and left Nathan's office abruptly. The next day, she arrived at work and was surprised when Nathan approached her desk with 2 coffees in hand, offering one to her with a smile that seemed genuinely aimed at brightening her day. But Nathan's small act of bringing Shirley coffee was overshadowed by Brody and Lila's brazen display of affection as they arrived at work. "Excuse me, I need to step out," Shirley said abruptly, fleeing to the bathroom for solace. Nathan, puzzled by Shirley's reaction, approached another secretary watching Brody and Lila with disdain. And it was then he learned Brody was Shirley's husband. "He's flaunting their affair right in front of his wife," the secretary explained. Nathan was shocked. He wanted to march after Brody and deck him, but he wouldn't cross the lines of human decency. Later that day, Shirley entered Nathan's office with a stack of files for the Richardson case. As she placed the documents on his desk, she turned to leave, only to be stopped by Nathan's voice. "Shirley, could you stay for a moment? I need help to organize these arguments for the case." Shirley paused, then slowly turned back, a curious look on her face. "Sure, I can help. What do you need exactly?" Nathan smiled. "I'm trying to frame our argument more compellingly. I thought you could give me a fresh perspective." As Nathan and Shirley worked closely together on the case, the tension between them gradually transformed into a mutual understanding and respect. Their conversations flowed easily, and Shirley was surprised to discover Nathan's love for jazz. "You're into jazz?" Shirley asked, intrigued. "Yeah, there's a lot about me you don't know. Jazz is just the beginning," Nathan replied, sharing a smile. Their connection deepened over time, and Shirley found herself increasingly drawn to Nathan. However, she remained cautious, mindful of her recent heartbreak. One evening, Nathan visited Shirley's hotel room, seeking her help with a crucial argument for their case. "I need your help to convey my feelings more effectively in the opening speech," Nathan admitted, looking earnestly into Shirley's eyes. Shirley felt disappointed, fearing she was just another tool for Nathan's professional needs. Yet, she agreed to help, hiding her hurt feelings. As they worked closely, an accidental touch sparked an unexpected moment of intimacy between them. "Chocolate," he whispered, noticing a smudge on her lip, his touch sending a wave of warmth through Shirley. "You're here for the speech, right?" Shirley asked, trying to maintain focus. "No, Shirley. I'm here for you," Nathan confessed, his voice filled with emotion. "I can't stop thinking about you despite your situation." Shirley was taken aback, her defenses crumbling as Nathan expressed his genuine feelings. Just as they were about to share a tender moment, a knock at the door abruptly interrupted them. "What do you want, Brody?" Shirley demanded, finding her drunk husband at the door. "Please, Shirley. I need comfort," he whined, reaching for her in a clumsy attempt at affection. "I've missed you so much, baby. Williams fired me." "Don't touch me," she hissed, trying to push him away, but Brody was persistent, backing her against the wall in a move that was both desperate and aggressive. Thankfully, Nathan intervened. "What's going on?" Brody's eyes widened, and he stepped away from Shirley. "What's he doing here?" Brody demanded angrily. "That's none of your business," Nathan snapped. "Get away from her. I own her heart," Brody shot back with a smirk. "We've been married for 10 years or 7, a long time either way, and she still loves me. She calls me, begging me to come back to her every day." "That's not true," Shirley protested, but Nathan had already walked away. Brody grabbed her once again, but Shirley shoved him away, threatening to file harassment charges against him. She ran outside, the snow falling around her, and saw Nathan get into his car. "Can we just go back inside and talk, Nathan?" she asked, tapping on his window. "Please." "No." Nathan hung his head. "I should have known that this, you and me, was too good to be true." Shirley's frustration erupted. "How dare you believe his stupid lie about me begging him to come back? You can't expect me to fight for you if you don't do the same for me. Say something." Nathan was quiet for a moment. Then he stepped out of the car and faced her. "I wish I'd met you 7 years ago and protected you from all the bad you had to suffer alone." Shirley's breath stopped when Nathan came close and cupped her face. His warm hands made her shiver. Nathan looked into her eyes and said, I want to make you happy." "You already do," Shirley answered. When they kissed, it felt like the start of something new and full of passion. "I'll also sue Brody. He won't get away with what he's done to you," Nathan said. For the first time, Shirley believed things could get better after Brody's harm, and she knew Nathan was her true love.